You click this video because you're weak. When you walk into a room, no one notices you. When you talk to people, they don't respect you. They talk over you. You need to become a man that people can fear, that they can sense his presence from far away. Weakness as a man could ruin the relationships with the people you love and make you vulnerable enough to be taken advantage of. You are not in control of your life if you are a weak man. I was just like you when I was young, but there was a moment when I was 6 years old that turned my whole life around. I went from being a good boy to a complete savage, making millions of dollars a month, having the perfect body, and getting respect from every single person next to me. If you're still a weak man in today's world, you are being eaten alive by people like me who don't give a fuck about losers like you. When tough times come to you, when hard times come to you, when pain and suffering arrives at your front door, thank it, love it. You need to go through the battle in order to stop being a weak man. You can't run away from it. As a stoic man, if you didn't show up for a workout today, I didn't think about it as you just missing a session. I thought about it as you being the man who is avoiding hard work, avoiding pushing himself. You see, when times are hard and difficult, that's when you become more powerful. Every single man on this planet that is a strong man was once a weak man. Every man on this planet who is a rich man was once a poor man. But the reason he's rich is because he can take more pressure on him. The reason someone has more muscles is because he continuously lifts more and more weight with his body. The reason someone is stronger than you are, it's because he constantly works on developing his skills as a fighter. You see, every man out there that is better than you, stronger than you, faster than you, it's because he constantly worked on putting more and more stress on himself. Development of the muscle and the growth of the muscle is adaptation to stress. Same thing with the rest of the things in the world. When pain comes to you, say thank you. If you have a dad that beat you, don't look at it as that was a survivor. Look at it as you came out as a warrior. If your dad beat you, if your dad talked down to you, you're privileged. You know why? Because my dad was so difficult with me that at a very young age, I knew how to protect myself. I knew karate from a very young age. I was a black belt by the time I was 10. Why? Because I was my dad's punching bag. You have to understand that these kind of dads are extinct nowadays. They don't exist. Dads do not hit you. Dads do not talk down to you. And that's the reason you're weak. Because my biggest battle was my father. I knew if I could beat my dad, I could beat anybody. And at a very young age, I was already stronger than my dad. But knowing daily that I have to work on myself to become stronger than him because he exists in my life and in the same home, that just sped up the process of me becoming as strong as I fucking can. So if you had a dad like that, go thank him, because those dads don't exist anymore. And that's the reason men today are weak. They're like iPhones. They fall and they break. But let me give you a solution for that. I want to share with you guys a little story of how I went from being a boy to becoming a complete savage. Things like that don't really happen every day. But as men, we must give up something that is very precious to us, and it's our innocence. Man and a woman are born the same. We have the same brain. We have the same kind of look at life. The difference between a man and a woman is that we give up our innocence. And our innocence is being given up by hardships, by times that are very, very, very distressful, painful, backstabbing. That's how you become a man. You go to war. And the reason you do that is so the people that you love, the woman you're gonna marry, the kids you will have, you'll be able to protect them and protect your innocence until a certain age. Once your son will become a certain age, you will have to take away his innocence as well by putting him through the right battles, but always stay there to protect him. And that's how you will become a man. Nobody's attracted to an innocent man. Everybody wants a real man. A man that has working hands, that you look at him and say, he's been through shit. Not a man with Botox, but a man with battle scars. And this is what turned me into a savage. I was a little boy. I was about 6, 7 years old. My favorite thing in the world was to go out to the fields behind my house, those beautiful forests, and to find animals. I had 18 dogs, I had snakes, I had lizards, I had bunnies. I saw the world as perfect. For me, I didn't really get along with humans. The reason was, I didn't like how they would yell at each other, get upset, get serious. So my going away and feeling like I'm in my own oasis was hanging out with my animals, my pets. I didn't go buy pets. I would go find them. I would rescue them. And some of them I would bring from the forest behind my house. And there were some dangerous animals. One day I found a snake, and that snake was a very large snake. Easily with one bite, I would have been dead. It was about 6-7 foot, black, dangerous, poison. But when I brought him back home, my mom saw him. She kind of freaked out, but she knew that for some reason, me and the animals knew how to connect, and that snake was not gonna bite me. She still asked me to go put it back in the forest. And I did, I listened to her. But as a little boy, running to my mom, I was so proud and so happy to introduce her to my new friend. When I saw that snake, at first what came to me was fear, a little tiny bit of it. But when I looked at it, I almost felt like it was calling me and telling me it's okay. You could hold me, I'm not gonna bite you. And exactly the way it felt, that's exactly what happened. Animals could feel your vibrations, your frequencies. They're very special. It's almost like they could feel the frequency of authenticity, which is the strongest frequency out there. So once I decided that I was gonna take him back, I told my mom bye, and I walked back to the forest. Right before I reached the forest, one of my neighbors, who was an 18-year-old boy, decided to yell at me. And when he came up to me, he pushed me and told me he wants to kill my snake. You could imagine as a little boy, I wasn't strong enough to fight him. And when he tossed me to the ground, he picked up a big rock, and as I was screaming, he smashed it over the head of the snake. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a snake, when it gets hurt, the whole body starts shaking, moving around. It's the muscles. That's exactly how that snake was reacting. That was one of the reasons I didn't like people, because they didn't truly like my animals, and I just had a different connection with them. So obviously screaming wasn't going to help, but something switched. There was a flip that switched in my mind that made me turn into a beast. Sometimes I like to say turn into an animal, but animals are too good. They're too kind. It turned me into a fucking savage. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I couldn't stop thinking and having this picture of my snake being killed right in front of me. So just a few days later, I decided to wait outside his house. I had a red brick in my hand, and when he was walking, I smashed it over his head. And when his head split open and he fell on the ground screaming, I smashed it again, and I smashed it again. And then I walked away as I threw the brick to the side. A man has to give up his innocence. But that moment, I felt like I was unstoppable. As a 6-year-old boy, taking on an 18-year-old kid, man, young adult, who wanted to hurt my animal and did, and I got him back for it. But at that moment in time, I had a taste for blood, and it tasted good. It felt like power that I can't describe. I became unstoppable. From that moment on, I was no longer the boy that everybody remembered. I was now the warrior, that stone cold fucking killer. I didn't kill him, but I hurt him really fucking bad, to the point where he'll always remember me. Every time he'll look in the mirror, the back of his head, he'll see the stitches, the scar. He'll never forget me. It was the first time that I actually got arrested. Police came to my house. They wanted to speak to my parents, see what the hell a boy like me is doing with the fucking rock in his hand and splitting somebody's head open. It just didn't make sense to them. But it did to me. You hurt the weak, I will prove to you that I'm stronger than you. And that's how I was the rest of my life. Always protected the weak. All my friends at school were nerds. One was on a wheelchair, one was a midget, one was mentally challenged. But those were the kids that I protected. If the cool kids in school wanted to laugh at them or push them around, then Ben came around. Those cool kids weren't cool no more. Those strong boys were not strong anymore. Those scary football players, they're not scary anymore because I showed up. The solution is not simple. It's not gonna be easy. It's not something that is just a walk in the park. Tomorrow you're gonna have six-pack, you're gonna have millions of dollars coming in, and you're going to be the G of town. No, the solution is difficult. It's gonna take hard work. But I want you to do this right now. These are gonna be the next few steps of your life that you're going to do for the next few years, and it will set the rest of your life up. And not for failure, but for greatness. And that I guarantee you. If you're someone who wakes up at 7, wake up at 5. Most people don't understand why. If you wake up at 7, you're 2 hours late. If you wake up at 5, you got 2 more hours in the day, which means 365 days, it's over 700 hours you have extra above somebody else who is waking up at 7 a.m. to just put in work and to become better than them, to run circles around them. Another thing is when you wake up super early and you wake up the sun will shine on you. The man who does not wake up in the morning, the sun won't shine on them. I say that to all my students. You want to be able to become successful? You want to challenge yourself. You don't need that man to be your boss to tell you what to do. What time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to have your coffee, what time you're going to get to work, what time you're going to take a lunch break, what time you're going to leave home, what time you're going to go to bed. Be that boss. So if you wake up at 7, wake up at 5. If you wake up at 10, still wake up at 5. If you wake up at 5, I want you to wake up at 3. I want you to challenge yourself. The next thing after that, I want you to do this. You're going to get up, get out of bed, walk straight to your shower, turn it on cold water as you're half asleep, and stand under it for 5 minutes. Let your blood flow, let your brain explode, feel the energy. It will surge through your whole body. You will feel electrified, like you could take on the whole world. After that, you're gonna get out, you're gonna get ready, you're gonna make your bed, you're gonna clean your room, you're gonna clean your car, you're gonna eat your breakfast, and that will be your pre-workout meal. Then you're gonna go to the gym and hit the gym for 45 minutes, and that's going to be every single day, but you're going to do a 30-second rest between every fucking set. So back to back, non-stop. And every set will be a superset. I want you to go on a strict diet. I want you to eat high protein, which means a high protein diet is going to consume mainly protein in every single meal. And you're going to do it mainly from red meat. With enough workouts, it's okay to eat a lot of red meat. Besides your meals, besides your workout, if you have a job, you're gonna go to your job. But when you're done with your job, you're gonna work on your future. I tell people, don't work hard on your job, but work hard on yourself and your future. Just like you don't need to take me and follow me, but just be my student. Listen to what I say. Learn from me. I've been where you're at, and I'm at where you're going. And if you wanna know how to get there, all you have to do is listen. And if you think your life is perfect, and you want to know what your next 5 years were going to look like, look at your last 5 years. If it was perfect growth and you love it, great, continue. If not, shut the fuck up and listen to me. Once you're done with your job, you're going to work on your future. You're going to figure out a goal, what it is that you want to do in life. If you have a lot of hours on your hands, you should easily get 2 workouts a day. One could be a cardio, another one could be workout, lifting weights. And if it's not cardio, you train for fighting. Push your body to its limits. Our bodies, they're not just bodies. They're superhumans. If you lift weight, you get stronger. If you run every day, you become faster. If you eat healthy, you lose weight. You eat more, you gain weight. You punch the wall enough times every single day, after a year, you'll be able to punch in metal. The more you use your fist and your bones on anything daily, not hard, but lightly, you'll create something called microfractures, where you have little tiny fractures in your bone, and your bone will heal and build even a stronger, thicker, more powerful bone. After a year, whether it's your fist, your head, your shin, your knees, your elbows. Doesn't matter what it is. You'll be able to go through a fucking wall with it. I'm not talking about drywall. I'm talking about solid fucking wood. And that's the way to live your life. You live the next 5 years like no one will, so you can live the rest of your life like no one can. You have to take control over your life. It's your time. Your time is now. We don't know how many more Mondays we're gonna get. We don't know what else is coming. But in a world like today, being a strong man, it's absolutely incredible because most of the people are weak, which means you'll be ahead of everybody. No one wants to put in the work. Do you remember how your dad used to talk about your grandpa being strong? And your grandpa used to talk to your dad about your great-grandpa being strong. And stronger and stronger and stronger, which means your great-grandpa was super fucking strong. Your grandpa was also strong, but a little weaker. Your dad was also strong, but a little bit weaker. And you're a fucking bitch. What happened? Times changed. People stop using their bodies, but your physicality and your mentality are linked. You cannot put your mind away from your body. You can also not separate the body away from the mind. So work on your physicality, but also work on your mentality. Make sure that the way you see things is different than the way the rest of the world sees it, because the rest of the world doesn't see it well today. And if you'll see it a little bit different than them, you will become successful. It's very easy to become successful today if you're a strong man, but it's very difficult to become successful if you're a weak man. It's your choice. I say this, and listen to me very carefully. You could either look and hate, or you could watch and learn. It's your choice. A strong man learns from people who have more experience than him. A weak man will go out in the world and try to figure it all out for himself. Don't be that guy who can't take advice from people that are farther in life than they are. I give advice every single day to people who are open to learn for free. Sign up in the description.